r/askreddit by Reddify. Soldiers of Reddit. What are things they don't tell you about going to war? That you are killing children. By direct fire. By indirect fire. By directing fire. There was this one girl they brought to Camp Warehouse when I was on guard. Legs gone. Shrapnel all over her body. Somehow still alive. They just dropped her out of a taxi and took off. You get closer to her and you realize she is alive. You see the damage. You want to help. Yet you stay back because you remember the last time they lured you into a trap and rigged a corpse with explosives. She breathes and says something you don't understand. Someone yells orders to stand back and get EOD. You can't leave her there. You just move and pick her up while someone yells at you to not touch her. She looks at you with a face of innocence and pain. You turn around and carry her inside the camp to medical. Now everyone helps. You hand her over and stay outside. Your sergeant starts yelling at you, but his words don't reach you. You later learn that she died. At the briefing the next week the incident comes up again. She didn't step on a mine. She was hit by a 40mm round during fighting. The guys who dropped her off were too afraid we shoot them too. War just sucks, man. There is nothing heroic about it. It is just a giant tragedy. And it's coming home with you. War is two old men throwing other people's children at each other until one of them gets tired. War is when the old and bitter convince the young and stupid to kill each other. Nico Bellic. Hit burning detail. Did that in Baghdad back in 03. It took about 3 hours for it to become ash. When I was in Iraq in 03 we had 40 gal metal drums that we cut in half and just hovered over to take a hit in. Then, when they became too full, we had to dump diesel in them and set them on fire. Well, who gets that hit duty, pun intended, one might ask. Well, in my unit, it was whoever ducked something up most recently. If you did something wrong you were assigned to hit squad. The thing is, almost anything could get you on hit squad if the timing was wrong. If no one ducked anything big up in a while, a pretty minor infraction like messing up the rank of a senior marine would get you on hit squad. If the membership of hit squad swelled, the lower level duck ups would get dismissed. If you were a member of hit squad you would hear the call go out hit squad up. And you had better come running. Now burning hit is a far more complicated process than you may think. Hit burns okay on its own with the fuel added, but piss and diarrhea do not burn well. In order to get this liquid mixture of baby wipes and piss hit to burn you would dump a few gallons of diesel on it and stir it for a little and then set it on fire. Then, as it burns, you would need to continue to stir it so the wettest part of the hit evaporates and hit can actually burn. When the fuel burns off, you ensure the flames are completely extinguished and then add more diesel and repeat the process. That last part is extremely important. Something many hit squad noobs would learn as they caught the diesel cans on fire when the hit can wasn't completely extinguished. We usually lost about 1 or 2 fuel cans a week to fire related accidents. Usually the entire process took about an hour if you didn't duck around too much in the process. It's amazing how you can take a hitty job like that and turn it into something hilarious when the choice is between laughing at it or committing suicide when everyone falls asleep tonight. Hit squad became a fun joke. We would play pranks on people, like switching the diesel with the explosively flammable JP5 and watch the surprise when the hit can explodes with flames instead of gently igniting or tossing an aerosol can in someone else's hit can when they weren't paying attention so it explodes and hit goes everywhere. Even better was if you could frame someone on some trumped up charges to get them on hit squad. This was especially gratifying when someone would make a comment like I've never had to be on hit squad. What? Itch. Hit squad is a rite of passage. Everyone goes on hit squad. Even at the time though, we all reference the fact that we were breathing that hit in with no protection. Probably gonna be the thing that kills me. Edit. Hit burning Amma. Edit 2. Hit Hawks bow bandy. Hit Hawks. Edit 3. I'd like to take this time to answer some popular questions from my inbox. Yes. Burying hit would be easier, but you aren't accounting for the amount of hit 200 men produce. Plus, all the hitting had to take place inside the compound. Which meant that these hit trenches you're proposing would be right by where we sleep. And when do you bury it? After each dump? By the time we spent 8 months in Iraq, our bases would be nothing but hit trenches. Yes, it is rite of passage, but I'm leaving it now cause our mistakes make us who we are. Yes, I'm a mindless government slave who couldn't think for himself. A better question would be, what didn't I do to get on hit squad? I was a good marine, but if the risk for a little bit of fun was getting put on hit squad, why wouldn't you go big or go home every single time? My senior marines were really hitty people and acted like they were some kind of frat leaders while we were at war. So if you're gonna be a peen to me in the middle of a war, I'm gonna find ways to get back at you any way I can. Never let them break you. I always said. The worst detail I ever had wasn't hit squad. It was cleaning a building in Iraq with a toothbrush for like 4 days in August when it was 120 degrees out. My skin blistered and I almost died of heat stroke. Yes. This is how your government spends your money. How the duck do you think I feel about paying taxes now? Air Force here. We had local contractors that cleaned our hitters weekly and air conditioned tents. That it never washes off. It will always be your highest and lowest point in your life. This is the best answer. My best and worst memories are from deployments. They can't prepare you for a human being dying in front of you. It's not like Hollywood, where they tell you something important before they die. They cry, scream, hit and piss themselves, beg to stay alive, or worse yet, they just stop being there. The biggest thing they don't tell you is how to put up with ducking civilians asking questions about hit they have no right to ask about. But the number one biggest thing they don't ever you about war is this: some of you will like it a little too much. Not a soldier, but a nurse. We coded a patient last night. She died. It was awful. She'd had esophageal varices, basically huge very fragile hemorrhoids in the throat, and they ruptured. There was blood everywhere, coming out of her mouth, nose, eyes, and ears. By the end. And then we wash her and clean her, and every time we rolled her over, more of the liters of blood in her stomach would come gushing out of her mouth faster than the suction system could keep up. It was horrifying. But during the CPR all I could think of was how my back was killing me. And afterwards I was just annoyed that I got blood on my new ice shoes. Sometimes I think I should have picked a quiet, low-key career where hit like this doesn't happen. During the CPR all I could think of was how my back was killing me. And afterwards I was just annoyed that I got blood on my new ice shoes. That's a very human reaction. I think that for people frequently involved in such scenes, our minds have to work that way, focusing on mundane things in order to cope. No matter what they say, you are never prepared to come home. It's so different and your sense of imagination is tenfold. I saw a woman holding a gun to a man's stomach. I blink and take another look, it's his ducking wallet that he dropped, and I was about to tackle her. IDK, it's just hard. Just gonna throw an edit on here, been getting some hitty PMS. If anyone would like to know my story, you can message me please. I got an honorable discharge. Please let me know, but goddamn, don't be an as this hit gets to people. My dad was in Iraq in 04. His uncle who was in Vietnam approached him at a reunion after my dad got back, and they had a talk. It went something like this. Uncle, lem guess. You feel like you don't fit in here at the party. Dad, yeah. Uncle, you don't feel like you understand what's happening. Dad, yeah. Uncle, and you wanna go back because that's the only thing that makes sense. Dad, yeah. Uncle, that goes away after a year or so. It never stops. It just becomes less common. You'll move past it eventually. Everyone does. That's actually pretty sad. Is it part PTSD? 98% bullhit. Guarding things. Guarding all the things. Guard tower. Thousands of hours of my life standing in 120 feet wearing 70 pounds of hit, feeling sorry for myself, hoping we get attacked so I can shoot the gun I have to clean every single day. Guarding latrines while wearing full gear because someone clogged the toilet and this is punishment. Guarding padlocked Humvees in the motor pool because we don't want our equipment stolen by other US soldiers from other units. Guarding our tents because we share a base with Iraqi soldiers and we don't trust our own allies. Guarding all the things. Cleaning things. Cleaning all the things. Clean your weapon every single day. Shoot it. Maybe. Once during the deployment. Maybe. Some guys never fire a shot. Clean the vehicles before and after every mission. Clean your living space. I lived in what used to be someone's bathroom. We poured water down the hit hole in the floor. Called it good. Set up cots. And that's where I slept. But I better make my bed every morning, straightening out my poncho liner that constituted my linen, and make sure my personal belongings and gear are packed up neatly. Because we must keep the living area clean. Clean the outpost we live on, pick up all the trash and burn the trash pile every day. Even though we live on an outpost, where we burn our own hit in barrels a few hundred feet away from where we eat our meals. Clean all the things. Maintenance. I signed up as an infantryman. One would, if uninformed, believe that mechanics fix vehicles. Wrong. We do our own maintenance on our Humvees, MRAPs, Bradleys, and M113s. Not only do we do pre-mission maintenance, post-mission checks, and weekly maintenance, but when something breaks, we fix it. Only when we can't fix it, like something seriously wrong with the engine/transmission, do the mechanics do the work. Change track on a Bradley? There are about 180-ish. It's been a few years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Track pads on 180-ish track shoes on a Brad. We changed pads twice a month. Or more often, if they burned out. Driving 45 km/h on asphalt in 120 F heat. The pads literally catch fire and melt off the track. We change the whole track, the most back-breaking job in the Mech infantry, once a month. As a Mech grunt, I felt like I was 33% tanker. The tankers called us baby tankers. 33% mechanic. And 33% infantryman, with that last 1% constituting sorry Methodica. You will probably not kill anyone. The Apaches. Fixed wing jets. Snipers. Machine gunners. Tank gunners. Bradley gunners. They do most of the killing. The guys with rifles are filling in slots to drive vehicles, kick doors, and detain prisoners. Only a few of the riflemen ever smoked anyone. Usually the killing is done with the bigger guns. When the shooting starts, almost all the fire is meant to suppress the enemy position, so they hunker down and give us freedom of movement to maneuver on them, close with them, flank them, and engage them. Dudes would literally dump off dozens to hundreds of rounds in a gunfight, and at the end of it, we either found no bodies, or didn't bother to look. Nobody wins. The losers are the civilians. No matter how many bad dudes we smoked, the civilians always lost. When we go back to our outpost, the bad dudes go back to the vials we left and terrorize the locals. Innocent kids tortured, aped, and murdered. Rockets and mortars lobbed into a vial because it's the opposite sex from its opposing vial. We found over 90 bodies of extrajudicial killings, murder victims from Shiite vs Sunni sectarian violence in just the first month of my first combat tour that lasted 15 months. You will never convince me that the US-led coalition won the 2003 Iraq War. But I can tell you who lost: the civilians of Iraq. By a duck in landslide. Usually the killing is done with the bigger guns. The life of Mech infantry. I was parachute infantry. The biggest guns we had were 240s. So riflemen did plenty of shooting with their support 20 minutes away in OHMMVWS. Sounds like you got the shaft. I'm a little nervous about posting this, but I've read through this thread and most of this stuff has been covered in a documentary or a movie. Or I've read it on another Reddit thread somewhere else. I have never been, nor am I, a soldier. However, since my SO has deployed, I have experienced something that I've never been told about, never seen in a movie or a documentary, never read in another Reddit thread. I don't know if this is true for the guys, but here's something extra hitty about being the woman staying behind for a deployment. Everyone assumes you're already cheating on him. It's default. You aren't gonna get away from it. It's so impossibly hitty, and it'll make you feel guilty just for leaving the house to get groceries. My SO has been deployed for 3 months. 1/4 of the way there. Woohoo. And I have been about an inch away from punching some Methodicas in the throat because of stupid hit they say. I don't know if the people who say these things are ex-military, civilians, or current military. But, goddamn, people will say demeaning, rude, ducked up things. I'm shocked at how much disrespect people have toward me just because I'm with someone who is deployed. I'm not saying they should respect me. That's not it at all. But holy duck, why do I deserve to be treated like this? I was chatting with a coworker one day about the deployment and how some changes made to their orders were making me worry. The son had the ducking nerve to say, it'll make it easier if you just cheat. Why on earth would anyone suggest that? There will be people who are less obvious about it. For example, oh, I'm sure you're not that lonely, sly smile. I've had another person actually argue with me that I'm not cheating, calling me a liar, saying you will do it, and then dismissing me by laughing in my goddamned face. This is the reaction that hurts the most. Because it devalues what you know is true, just because it's not the juicy norm. And you can tell them anything you want. You can get mad, sad, disgusted, yell at them. It doesn't matter to them. You're already cheating on your husband. It's so hitty. And after all of this happens and continues to happen, you'll still hear stories of women who sold everything and disappeared before the soldier got home. And let me tell you, it will give you a feeling of such white hot anger. Yes, you're angry at her for disrespecting her husband/boyfriend and being a hitty human being. Yes, you're sad that his life is ducked up now and he had to come home from a stressful situation to that hit show. I'm endlessly heartbroken for any soldier who had to experience this from their girlfriend or wife. I'm being treated like this because of garbage like her. I don't think I'd be able to stop myself from choking a rich if I ever met someone like that in person. My point is, you will be judged, and people won't censor what they say because they don't care. It's really easy to ignore on some days, water under the bridge. But those days that are 10,000x harder than yesterday for no good reason. Or the days where you'd spoon out your eye if it'd bring him home. Those are the days that those words really hurt. They'll cripple you. Those are the days I eat saltine crackers all day instead of go out for groceries. Coming home to find out I was cheated on and being left broke me. You know you're doing the right thing. Keep doing it. There's a lot of guys out there who would kill to have someone like you. Keep your head up and duck everyone else. Stay focused. Go shopping. Take care of yourself because no one else will. Start going after everything you want in life, and when he gets home, hit the ground running and chasing after it together. Edit. Duck you guys, you know what I meant. Duck everyone else. Dude. That just because you're infantry, that doesn't always mean that you're going to get ducked up. And everyone else isn't. I was an infantryman who went to Iraq. My younger brother was in communications and he went to Afghanistan. I drove from base to base hoping to not get hit by IEDs while looking for suspicious people, places, objects on the road, etc. My brother sat on one base the entire time he was there working with radios and satellites. Our base was never attacked. But we did find some rockets once set to launch at our base. EOD destroyed them. My brother's base was hit almost daily. Farmers with RPGs firing randomly. Mortars coming in randomly. Well, one time was too random for my brother. He was sitting in a bunker waiting for the attack to be over when the women's shower was hit with a few mortars. It blew the building all to hit. There were women in there showering at the time. A few were killed. And my brother saw one crawl out of the rubble, who was blown in half. I came home with bad knees and anger issues. My brother came home with a broken body, mind, and spirit. Hit like that was supposed to happen to me, not him. The enemy is afraid to fight infantry because they know they can't win. The key to guerrilla warfare is to target enemy communications and support elements that are vulnerable. Communication has and will always be vital to warfare. During the opening hours of Desert Storm, we destroyed key Iraqi communications and disrupted their COC. This prevented them from organizing effective resistance. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.